My name is Steve. Welcome back to my shop. And this is Shark Bits number 30. And at the suggestion of one of my viewers, we're going to call this edition the Chum. Shark Chum. So anyway, I hadn't planned on posting a project video before this version of Shark Bits. However, a lot has happened this week in the shop and I really want to share it with you. But before we go into the couple of projects and the new machine that's coming into the shop, I want to remind each and every one of you that has not signed up for the big black book giveaway. It's not too late. You've still got 2 or 3 days depending on when I get this published. The cutoff time is Sunday, June 7th, approximately 6 p.m. So that gives you plenty of times to get your name in. We've got a good list. I'm very pleased with the response and all of the kind comments and the kind emails. I really appreciate it. It makes it all worthwhile doing this program. So don't forget, all you have to do is send an email to me at sharkrivermachine@gmail.com. I'll put it down here at the bottom and it's also in the description. Give me your full name, first and last name. Just tell me you want to be entered into the Black Book giveaway. So let's get going. I decided to show you this contraption because probably most of you haven't seen it. And this is a tool that tightens what's referred to as a bandit clamp. This slides over there. And this is a bandit clamp. And it's stainless steel. It's got 2 wraps around it, and what this jig does is it pulls it tight around a hose and fitting and then we'll shear it off. So I'm going to bring the camera around so you can see the working end of it. This handle here, you slide the clamp in the end like that, and it's picked up and you take and pull it through, turning this handle, and that starts to tighten up the clamp. Let's see if I can give you a little bit better view of what's happening there. And it starts to tighten up the clamp. I can get away with doing it without the hose in it right now because the hose is a little bit, these clamps are a little large. But I'm going to slide the hose up, put the fitting in, and but before I do that, I'm going to move the camera around so that you can see the business end of this as I'm tightening it up. And put the fitting on. This is for my outboard motor. And now I'm going to wind it up. I may have to take a second bite on this clamp because it is a little bit large. I place the clamp about halfway up on the barb. Okay. That's about it. It's starting to deform the hose. That's as far as I want to go. Now this is where the magic happens. I take and fold it back like this, and there's a little paw that comes over that grabs onto the, whoops, me show you how the clamp is made. It's got this little piece that's wrapped around it, and so I'm grabbing a hold of that with this paw, and then snap, and it shears off the metal and leaves a tab on it so that it can't unwind. And that's a bandit clamp. Now my hose is ready to run. Back at the beginning of April, I received a private message on Facebook from Bruce Whitham from Australia. Bruce has a YouTube channel. He's the Get Her Out guy. And I have met Bruce at a couple of the bash events. I've spoken to him and I consider him to be a friend. And so he asked me for my address and my phone number, and I said to him, I said, you know, don't call me on the phone. I said, we'll do a voice message on Facebook. He says, oh, he says, I'm too busy for that. I can't do that right now. He says, I'll be in touch with you eventually. Really didn't think too much more about it. And I'm gonna say middle of May, second week of May, I got a message from Bruce, and he said, did you get a parcel from me? I said, no, Bruce, I didn't. He says, well, I shipped it out on April 15th. And he sent me the tracking number on it, and I tracked it and found out that it left Australia on the 20th of April. And it's not unusual for parcels from Australia to take 3 or 4 weeks. So I said, I'll let you know when it shows up. Well, lo and behold, last week, almost 6 weeks later, this showed up on my front porch. I have a pretty good idea what it is. We're going to unbox it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So let's get started. Okay, this is a piece of aluminum. It's gotten dinged up just a little bit, not too bad. And it measures 1.5 inches by about 5/8. It's got some holes drilled in it. Let's dig down into the box and see what else we've got here. There's a bracket. Another piece to the bracket. It'll go together like that. bag of hardware. Nice piece of aluminum angle. And this is, let's see if I want to get the name right. Here's another piece, and this piece is cut out of, looks like a piece of Delrin. And this is the Tru-line 8. It's a bracket to mount onto a round column mill. And I'm going to take you over to the mill and show you. Anybody that has a round column mill or has ever used one knows the shortcomings of it. I'm very happy with the performance of my mill, but it does have one issue that can be a real pain in the butt sometimes. Let me show it to you. This is my round column Enco mill drill. This particular one was made in Taiwan. I think it was around 1980. According to the tag, it was 1980. So it's actually a pretty good quality machine. The problem with these is that if you don't have the height set high enough, say you're drilling something and you want to ream it. So you drill it, you go to ream it, you can't fit the reamer in it, so you have to lift the head. I've already unbolted the head so that it's will move. But if you try and raise the head on this, it also twists, which is a bit of a pain. There's a handle on the side of it where you can raise it or you can lower it. Raising it's a little bit of a pain. I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to hook up an attachment for my cordless drill to raise it. But you reset the depth and you reach over and you lock up the nut that holds it from rotating, and you're ready to go. But in the meantime, you've lost your center. So what the Tru-line 8 does is that the bracket connects to the column, and this rod will mount on the side. I'm going to have to move the bracket for my DRO scales. And once this is all together, you'll be able to move this up and down without it rotating. I'm going to do a video on the installation of it. I have to be perfectly honest with you. When I saw him building it and I saw a model of it, I was a little skeptical. We'll see. I'm going to put it through its paces, see what kind of repeatability it has, and thank you, Bruce, for sending this along. And I'm going to give it a good, thorough workout. Bruce does sell these. He sells them worldwide. I'm not sure how many he's sent out. He's sent out quite a few, in the hundreds. And he sent them all over North America, Canada. I think he sent some to England. And since the parts are made out of aluminum, it's not terribly heavy. And I'm going to give you contact information to connect with Bruce if you're interested in pricing and availability on the Tru-line 8 from Gemtrek, Bruce Whitham. Just picked up this Sheldon Model 0 horizontal mill from my shop. It is currently sitting in a maintenance shop at a museum that I'm a volunteer at, and it's been stored here for quite a while in a building that I'm kind of the caretaker of, and the owner of it just contacted me and asked me if I'd like it. so I purchased it from him. It was restored several years ago and never put back into use other than to test it. I just fired it up, checked out all the systems. The only thing that I've got a little bit of a minor issue with, I think it's just an adjustment, is to get it to hold in back gears. It's running in direct drive with no problem. I'm going to start it up and run it through its paces. Power cross feed. There's 4 different speeds with a quick change gearbox. Table goes up and down, no problem. Cross feed, good, feels real good. So the only issue that I've got with it, when I put it into back gears, it runs in back gear, but it doesn't want to hold. It's not staying. So I've got to look into that. Now it's stuck in slow and it doesn't want to go into high. Obviously there's an adjustment problem here. Try and run it in reverse and see what it does. Well, so far that's all I can find to fix it. I'll be working around the shop to try and make room and move it home. Also came with a milling vise, which I'm going to change the jaws out on it. They've been whacked a few times. And it's also, I didn't mention before when it was running, it's a variable speed. And the variable speed works well. It's a little noisy and fast, so I suspect that the belt might be a little bit loose. I've got a few cutters with it, some extra spacers, and a short arbor. It's a number 9 Brown and Sharp taper. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Shark Bits, the Chum. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I've enjoyed this week in the shop. If you hear this little bit of noise in the background, I actually have the air conditioner running in the shop today. It's finally, summer is here, so I'll see you in the next video.